All right, so it's officially Avengers Infinity War week.
Yay!
We're nerding out, obviously. we went to the world premiere of the film on Monday. We'll give you all those details after we review the movie.
The best premiere we've ever been to.
Yeah, well, it was
amazing.
A monumental premiere. It was a milestone in cinematic history. So we're going to get to the review. We're not going to spoil anything. This is
totally spoiler-free.
Yeah, completely spoiler-free. We completely want everybody who's watching this review or anybody seeing this movie at all to go in as fresh-minded as we did.
Yeah.
We're just going to talk about the film in general, what it does, how it compares to other films in the MCU. No spoilers whatsoever. Just things about the filmmaking and the performance and the storytelling
and what
structure.
we obviously loved about it because I loved it.
Yeah.
I've literally been thinking about it since Monday night.
Yeah, we're still processing it. It's a lot to process. It's a deeply emotional experience. It's an experience that there's some movies in your life that I think you go back, you think about. I wish I could watch that again for the first time. I think The Matrix is one of those for me. I don't know if you have one specifically, but do you have a movie that you'd want to watch again for the first time?
I mean, any type of obviously Cruel Intentions and It's a Wonderful Life and what those films did for me in my love of film maybe, but I think that this is a film where you need to watch it more than one time in the theater because there's so much going on, but the Russo brothers did an amazing job of putting everything together. They I feel like they literally did the impossible.
Yeah,
in this movie.
It's an impossible task what they pulled off, and we'll briefly talk about the plot, the things that people already know about, and then we'll get to the review, and then we'll talk about the premiere at the end because we were there and it was an insane evening. But yeah, so just to give perspective on where we are MCU wise, Russo brothers are my favorite filmmakers to touch any movie within the MCU. This is the 19th Marvel film to come out. And it is monumental. It is shocking. It's deeply emotional, very effective, also very funny. And we'll get into that mixture of how it finds comedy in these dark moments. But the Russos, in my opinion, the top two Marvel films ever made are Winter Soldier and Civil War.
I agree.
So that's where I stand.
I'm definitely a Captain America girl. I even love the first Avenger. I rewatched a lot of the MCU films in anticipation for Infinity War. And by the way, if you do kind of want to watch some films
and this is
again,
a great question. People keep asking us if you haven't seen the first 18, are there 3 or 4 films you can watch prior? And Lauren has a list.
I mean, I would say definitely Captain America Civil War because that this movie picks up pretty close after everything that happened, and Civil War is streaming on Netflix as well as Doctor Strange and Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. And I mean, Doctor Strange is they all have their moments in the film, but I would say Civil War for sure, and Doctor Strange, Guardians of the Galaxy 2 for fun.
And obviously Avengers 1 and 2.
Yeah, if you can, but, I mean, Civil War for sure, if you can only watch one, right?
Yeah, and the interesting thing about this is, and a lot of people, there is a different way to watch this. If you're invested as we are in the 18 movies prior to this is clearly going to be a different experience than if you've seen the other 18 movies. Though I will say, and I'll never know this for sure, that I think this film still could work on its own because of the way it's structured. And that gets to one of the review points that I have about the movie. Our dog Oscar, by the way, named after the Academy Awards, he's sniffing some wires that we have on our ground. This is so we're just making sure he's not getting into anything dangerous. But here he is. So one of the things I love about this movie is the idea that a lot of films use exposition in a bad way. What I mean by that is I feel like movies sometimes don't understand that the audience is smarter than they're giving them credit for. So they have to over-explain things through dialogue and exposition. In this movie, because there's so much going on and characters are meeting for the first time ever, it makes sense why other characters are explaining things to other characters. So, for example, if there's a scene with this character who's meeting a character for the first time, and that character doesn't know what's going on with Thanos or what the Infinity Gauntlet is.
Or how they're related to who.
Right, exactly. That all comes out in the dialogue naturally because it's questions that characters would have to the other character anyways.
So that makes it good as a standalone film.
Right.
I mean, I would definitely...
It's really cool.
I mean, a lot of people... I'm sure, this is going to be such a massive movie. I'm sure there's going to be, a good amount of people that will go to the movie, maybe not that familiar with the MCU, or saw a couple of Iron Man.
Or saw Black Panther. Black Panther brought in a lot of new fans for the MCU.
Fans,
and when we were at the premiere, the cheers that Chadwick's character has, T'Challa has, when he enters the screen for the first time.
And deny,
it's
like pretty
big.
much every Black Panther character.
So I think Black Panther obviously brought in a lot of new fans. So I think that this movie is going to have. Now I don't know how it's incredible how they pulled it off. So one of the things that we were discussing after we saw it, or even during the movie, there's a line that Thanos says that's in the trailers, which is perfectly balanced as all things should be. And I remember looking over at Lauren during the movie and saying, "That's the movie."
Yeah.
Like, I've never seen storytelling so fluid with this much going on, and it felt like the most easy, effortless thing you could think of, even though obviously it wasn't that easy of a task.
Like there's basically moments when like you're thinking like, wait, like we haven't seen Iron Man in a little bit, and then like the Russo brothers basically like bring you to what's going on with Iron Man.
They knew what you were
like,
thinking. It was weird.
It was like they were very aware that there was a lot of characters, a lot of action going on for the audience, and intricately did dialogue that made sense, did edits to where certain characters were around the universe that made sense. And I was worried about the 2 hour and 40-minute timing of it. I was afraid that maybe like they kept too much something in that they should have cut out. This movie felt like I was sitting there in the theater for like an hour, which like is like rare for a 2 hour and 40-minute film.
Yeah, it feels like it's less than an hour, and like it
feels so quick because it's such a cool and fun experience, and I can't wait for everybody to see everything with all the characters, because like we know what's going on, and it's like going to be interesting to see everybody's reaction.
It's very shocking is an understatement for this movie. It is truly something that completely goes against what you might think is going to happen, in my opinion. And my buddy and I were talking about this. My buddy Jake Hamilton, who does reviews in Chicago, we were talking about our feelings on Last Jedi versus this movie, and how, to me, Last Jedi, I didn't love Last Jedi. I thought it was good, but it wasn't great.
Right.
And I thought that film messed with your expectations. In my opinion, it felt purposeful. I felt when I was watching Last Jedi that they were like, the movie was almost aware that it was a movie and that it knew what the audience was looking for. And so when Hamill throws the saber over his shoulder, that to me felt like a moment where it was like telling the audience specifically that we're going to go in a different direction here. With Avengers Infinity War, while it messes with your expectations, it does it in an earned way.
It does.
Every moment is earned, and the movie never knows it's a movie. And to me, that's a strong thing to know, because I'm not saying Jedi thought it was a movie, but this movie never knows it's a movie. It's just you are experiencing this story, and they're going in the direction, and it all makes sense, and it perfectly works out in regards to where your expectations lie.
Avengers Infinity War, when I walked out of that theater, that's kind of how I wanted to feel about The Last Jedi, and I didn't. And Kevin brings Last Jedi up is because, like, yes, it's like it has great scenes, but like was like slightly disappointing.
I bring it up because of expectations.
Expectations, and a lot of critics are calling Infinity War like the Marvel's version of Empire Strikes Back, and I think that like that's kind of a fair comparison. It just honestly like blew me away, and my favorite part over the next couple days and through the week is gonna see people's reactions to what is happening. I'm seeing it again tomorrow night with my brother, and I'm in a like obviously like a theater full of people, and it's going to be an interesting experience to watch it with people who are seeing it for the first time.
Yeah, I want to pay. I actually am going to pay to go out and watch people's jaws hit the floor.
Like, it legit is, like, the perfect movie to go to watch people's reactions and to see it in a big theater.
It's absolutely shocking. And so,
we want to talk about Josh Brolin.
We'll dive into that. And the Russos, just real quick on them one more time, just about Civil War and Winter Soldier, just the way they direct action, it's so clean. Everything in this movie is visible to your eye. To me, there was no quick cuts. It didn't feel like they were trying to cover things up. Like, it just felt like you were experiencing it, and it felt clean and fluid. So we move into Thanos. If you're not familiar, the basic idea in the movie is his character's trying to get the six stones to put on the Infinity Gauntlet, and the idea being that he could wipe out half the universe. And
Thanos was first brought in the MCU universe with an end credits scene of him at the very end of the first Avengers.
I think it was Age of Ultron.
Was it Age of Ultron?
I don't remember off the top of my head.
I thought it was the first Avengers, but like in an end credits scene in the Avengers, we see Thanos.
Yeah, I think it was the end of Age of Ultron. He makes an appearance, and like I think he says, "I'll do this myself." Like essentially like grabs the gauntlet and says, "I'll do this. I'll do it myself."
And then obviously he's in Guardians of the Galaxy too.
And if you're not familiar with the connections here, Gamora, Zoe Saldana's character, that's her adoptive father. And that's already been known. So that plays obviously into a very interesting storyline within this film as well.
Right.
But it is shocking how they pulled this off. But Josh Brolin as Thanos, an amazing performance, brilliantly executed. Got to give a shout out to performance capture and everybody who makes these movies with Weta and ILM and these amazing artists.
Thanos looks like Josh Brolin.
Yeah. Every emotion, everything that Brolin goes through emotionally as Thanos in this film. And he's not just a bad guy for bad guy's sake. He's very there's an element to him that reminded me of how I felt about Killmonger in Black Panther, where there is a sympathetic quality to a character who's destructive and doing horrible things, and Josh Brolin finds that, and you feel that.
But like that is rare for a villain in a superhero or comic book movie, where like it's you feel for that, and that's why Black Panther is one of my favorite movies in the MCU, like top 5 for sure, because it's just an amazing movie, but like I struggle with like liking the villains in a way in all of these movies, and like I'm just like, oh, like that villain's just like, okay, whatever. But like with Michael B. Jordan as Killmonger and Josh Brolin as Thanos, like they really set the bar high. I mean, like honestly, like very, very good performances, and you need a good villain performance for it to have all these superheroes come together.
And one of the things about Josh Brolin's Thanos character is it gives it a perspective of how powerful he is when he's facing these characters. So, throughout the years of the Avengers and the MCU, to me, there haven't been a lot of great villains in the MCU. I loved Loki. I really, really loved Killmonger.
Yeah, Loki was great.
But in Loki's arcs throughout these movies have been so cool because like he's gone back and forth. He's been a good guy. He's been a bad guy. But
Thanos and I thought Thanos and like Michael B. Jordan were more like, Thanos for sure, but like more like leading characters.
100%. Well, Thanos is the movie.
Yeah.
The movie is about him.
He's the biggest character on the poster. Like I don't know why I'm surprised he was in so much of the movie, but I was like, wow, like he is like the lead character.
A ton of screen time. So the interesting thing about Josh Thanos' character. So the Avengers, we know them as these powerful characters like Thor, Iron Man, Hulk.
All massively
but
powerful,
when they're up against Thanos, they're like ants.
Yeah.
And you feel that. You feel the devastation. You feel the power. You feel the uncertainty. You feel scared for these characters because they are legitimately in these scenes with a character Thanos who is so unbelievably powerful with any number of stones he gets throughout the movie. This character is scary, and it legitimately terrifies you.
It's scary. It's scarier because we've gotten to know Captain America, for example, in so many films, and to see him not be as powerful against Thanos, and all the Avengers is scary to the audience.
We see the trailer where Evans is holding on to the gauntlet. It's like
it is.
That's kind of what it feels like when you're watching these fights. He's like, how can they defeat this guy?
I was basically going like this the whole time. I was like.
Yeah, it's freaky, and it's a fun movie to watch with the audience. It is very dark. It's very, but it also one thing I want to bring up before we get to the premiere stuff, because we'll end our review shortly because we don't want to get into anything spoilerish.
Just go see it as soon as you can.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, the dark quality of the story. It's a very dark film, but they find humor perfectly. It's also one of the funniest films to come out of the MCU, while also being one of the most dramatic and dark. Yeah,
and the comedy is subtle. And I want to say, I know I'm a Captain America girl, and Chris Evans is great, and I legit think every single performance is great. Love the incorporation of the Black Panther stuff, but Tom Holland in this movie,
amazing.
I thought Spider-Man: Homecoming I liked a lot. I didn't think it was the best ever, like a lot of fans and critics did. I thought it was a great movie, and that's another one that we rewatched as well. If you do have time, definitely check out that one as well. But Tom Holland in this film, he's so good, and I always thought he was a great actor and a great Spider-Man, but in this film, I'm that dude is a good actor.
He's a great actor.
He's a great actor, and I can't wait for everyone to see in this film.
He's perfect for the role of Spider-Man and Peter Parker, and just the nerdiness and the.
I just wanted to give out a shout out to him because I was just I just thought that he had some of the best moments in the film, and I'm just honestly excited for people to see more of him.
He's amazing. But you know, one of the things that, again, I'm going back to like all the performance capture they did in this film with Thanos, and obviously Spidey, some of his stuff is performance capture, and also you got to bring up Alan Silvestri. I mean, like the score, the themes that are brought back in, every character, every moment, all these MCU films have had different themes and scores, and like to kind of combine that all. I know that Avengers 1 and 2 and Civil War had to mess with that as well, but just hearing like the cues, like the Black Panther cue come in, cool. It's really cool. And like it's so balanced and so well done. It's an amazing experience and truly a masterclass in storytelling and filmmaking and performance. Every actor is great.
It's honestly, it's one of the best superhero movies of all time. I feel like a lot of people are saying that, but it legit is. I can't personally decide yet if I like it more than either like Civil War or Winter Soldier. But like it's definitely like top 3 MCU of all time, and stay all the way through the end credits.
Yeah, so we're not going to tell you if there's an end credit scene or not. But Lauren says that because I think everybody needs to watch the end credits for the artists and the people. I mean,
honestly, I just sat there and like needed to.
You're going to need to process it. Also, listen to the music.
Just stay all the way through.
And there's all the names of the people who are involved in the film. We're not going to say if there's an end credit scene or not. But
just stay all the way through.
Yeah, stay all the way through. Specifically for some text that comes on the screen later on. But I do, before we get to the premiere, I want to mention one more thing about a character that has, in my opinion, the best moment.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, we're not going
to say who.
Yeah, we won't say who it is, but there's a character who's, I'll say is one of the original Avengers.
One of the core Avengers,
who has his best scene in an MCU film ever.
Yes.
And it's mind-blowing.
It's so good.
And it gets,
I was like, yeah! It's so good.
Yeah, it gets the biggest crowd reaction. It is amazing.
I mean, and honestly, bringing up crowd reactions, Kevin and I left, and we were like, have we ever been to a movie where there was like that many crowd reactions, like pretty much like every like 10, 20 minutes? Like it's insane.
We were also at the world premiere, so
but like fans like in a big theater, they're gonna have similar reactions.
All right, so I went 5 out of 5 for this. It's my second 5 out of 5 of the year. Ready Player One was number 1. This is number 2. People were tweeting me going, "What about Black Panther?" Black Panther, I gave a 4.5 out of 2. I had and I've reviewed Black Panther already. I love the movie. There were some things I had problems with, specifically a character that didn't continue, and then some of the CG in the waterfall shots. But I mean, then Black Panther was an amazing movie.
Yeah, it's definitely in my top 5. But I'm giving Infinity War a 5 out of 5 as well. It's my first 5 out of 5 of the year. Yeah. Literally cannot wait to see it again.
Yeah, it's an incredible film.
It's so good. And I've seen, like, obviously a good amount of films in this year, and I'm like, this is the one where I'm like, I cannot wait to see it
And
again.
the Russos are some of the greatest filmmakers working in our time, and one more thing about the action is that, and I mentioned this earlier about the storytelling, Civil War had one of the greatest action scenes of all time, the 17-minute airport sequence, which is, in my opinion, arguably one of the greatest superhero moments ever. And I remember asking the Russos how they were going to top that. And their answer was, it's all about story and storytelling and characters and moving them forward in the story. So if you look at the airport scene in Civil War, it's just it's all storytelling about how these characters are moving forward into the next part of the element. Infinity War, the overall film is better than the airport scene. And I say that because everything that happens in Infinity War,
there's so many great action
is important.
Scenes. Yeah.
And the action doesn't overshadow the storytelling. So I think that's why this film is as great as it is, because it's more about the characters and the performances and the pushing forward of how these people work.
And the action scenes are actually like important in movies.
Incredible action scenes, yeah. All right, so real quick on the world premiere.
Amazing.
Yeah, this was surreal. it was surreal, and you know, it's interesting because you're at a world premiere, so it is very surreal. But once the lights go down and you watch the movie, you're watching the film, and everyone in the audience was there as fans, seeing the film for the first time. We were in the Dolby Theater.
Yes, where the Oscars are held. And
it was insane. So, kind of quick behind the scenes, everybody was there. Every cast member there was there except for Chris Evans. He was in New York doing a Broadway play, but we were in the theater that the cast watched the movie in.
Which was amazing experience.
But I mean, to give perspective, where we were sitting in the movie theater, we were up at the top mezzanine in the center. We were sitting with like Kevin Hart, Lawrence Fishburne, Angela Bassett, Sam Jackson was somewhere. Yeah. And then the core cast, the Avengers and the Guardians and all those guys, they were down in the orchestra, but we were just watching. Everybody in that theater had not seen the film except for obviously the filmmakers and maybe some of the producers. I'm sure Kevin Feige had already seen it, but it is truly an incredible experience, and they shut down.
Because it's rare for even like a premiere for the actors to have seen it for the first time too, and getting the reactions. Like I mean Chris Evans wasn't at the premiere, but I'm sure he's seen the movie by now. But like Chris Evans like tweets out like being like, "This is like amazing." Tom Holland was like, "Oh my god, this is like such an amazing experience." It was cool to see like the actors' reactions to the finished film after they had just seen it. But the premiere was amazing. Like we got to talk with Chadwick Boseman a little bit. Kevin talked with the Russo brothers a bit.
And they shut down Hollywood Boulevard.
Yeah, they shot down Hollywood Boulevard.
There were 3 screens.
I held some falafel balls in front of Tom Hiddleston.
Yeah, that was funny. That was amazing.
Him and him were talking, and I was like, I was like starving by the end of the premiere, so I was like, oh, hi.
Yeah, and I've been doing interviews for a long time, so and I've gotten to know these actors through interviews. So like Tom Hiddleston will stop and talk and say hi. It's really kind of cool.
Yeah, but he's really friendly. Yeah.
They shut down all of Hollywood Boulevard, and there was 3 screens. So it was in the Dolby Theater, it was the TCL Chinese, and the El Capitan.
Yes.
And so when you walked onto the carpet, they had the actual costumes from all the MCU films, Doctor Strange, Iron Man suits.
Some of the vehicles.
Yeah, it was crazy.
Yeah.
And then you walked into what theater you had tickets for. So our theater was Dolby, so you walk into the Dolby Theater, you go up a famous staircase, you see all the Academy Awards.
It was a very impressive premiere.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was very, very, I was just happy to see the movie early, and then I was happy to be at the world premiere, and it was an amazing experience. Disney did a great job.
And they took our phones. It was cool.
They locked our phones.
You took a bag and you put your phone in it and you get to keep it, but you couldn't unlock it. It was like those things on the clothes in the stores that they have to take off before you walk out.
Yeah,
so the ink doesn't explode.
I've never had that experience before.
It was cool, but it was an amazing premiere, and everybody was just blown away. It was a cool moment to be at and just historical. But yeah, if you're an MCU fan, this is the movie you've been waiting for. It is shocking beyond belief. And just don't spoil it for anybody. Don't be that person who ruins it, because every moment of the movie is basically a spoiler.
Yeah, there's just so many great surprises. There's not just one big surprise. So
yeah. It's an event. It's so cool to be in this moment.
It's like a cinematic event, and it's like gonna be this is like historic with like box office and stuff coming up.
It's gonna be huge. So the question will be, will it top Force Awakens, which did $247 million in its first 3 days in the U.S.
Yeah, I think it could. It's like there's so much anticipation. We'll see.
We'll see what happens. All right, so that's the review for Infinity War.
Go see it immediately.
Yeah, and maybe we'll do like a deeper dive, spoiler-wise, in a couple weeks. To talk about it with you guys. But yeah, if you're just finding us for the first time, we were a married couple who does movie reviews together. We met in a movie theater in 2012. We fell in love over the movie Drive.
Kevin, Oscar's staring at you.
Our dog is named Oscar after the Academy Awards.
We've been away for a week, so he's wants to be right up on us.
Yeah. So, all right, well, 5 out of 5 for me.
Go see Infinity War. 5 out of 5. My favorite movie of the year so far, for sure.
Cool. Thanks, guys. Bye.